Step into the world of Founders Dinner. Stories of entrepreneurial wins, losses, and lessons. Where the essence of entrepreneurship is unraveled in its most authentic form. Stas Balanevsky serves as your guide on this journey of discovery and inspiration. In each episode, Stas brings together entrepreneurs from diverse backgrounds to share their stories. It's not just about their victories, but more about the resilience and adaptability they've shown in the face of adversity. These narratives are more than just stories. They are lessons in courage, determination, and the relentless pursuit of success. So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, dreaming of launching your first venture, or an established business leader seeking new perspectives, Founders Dinner is your invitation to explore the transformative power of entrepreneurship. And now, without further ado, let's welcome the host of Founders Dinner, Stas Balanevsky.
Welcome to the Founders Dinner podcast, stories of entrepreneurial wins, losses, and lessons. I'm honored to have Adria Gross with me today. And thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you, Stas, so much for having me here. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Thanks. So this is episode 9. I don't know what I'm doing, and let's hope it goes well. So a little bit of background for you on what we're trying to accomplish, because as an entrepreneur, that you learn very little from all of your wins, because winning is easy, right? If you look at business cycles of 10 years, 2 years you can do no wrong. Everything is perfect. It's just easy. 6 years are 6 years. They're okay. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then 2 years are the ones that can put you out of business. So first of all, I'd love to hear your story. I'd love to understand where you came from, where you're headed, where you are now. Just give me the story.
So I have everything in front of you. First, you said, I want to start with you and your entrepreneurial journey. Who are you?
Yeah.
So I'm the owner of Medwise Insurance Advocacy and Medwise Billing. I started out as Medwise Billing, and then I realized with all these mergers going on with groups of doctors that I really have to do something different, because it really got me into a point where, there wasn't enough business. So where have I been? I have been working for close to 15 years, fighting for people to protect them from having to claim bankruptcy due to denied, overcharged, out-of-network medical bills. Where are you now? I continue to fight for outrageous charges. And where are you going? I'm educating people when these financial demands are upon them, as well as asking society to have respect for people who had been rejected by others due to their medical and emotional conditions.
Wow. A most noble pursuit.
Thank you.
I read somewhere that medical debts are not forgivable in a bankruptcy. Is that true?
That is correct. But I have to say, the good thing has been, once it gets into collections, if the bill is under $500, you don't have to worry.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That happened a couple of years ago, and I was really happy to hear that. But hey, if you're over 500 and you're getting those bills, it's going to be on your records. And even when I'm able to either get the bill written off or a major reduction, then we can work on it to get it off their credit.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's amazing how important it is to have good credit. It is. Right. You can't get car insurance if you don't have good credit, because people with bad credit tend not to be good drivers, right? It's the whole thing.
The more credit cards you have, the worse your credit is.
It's interesting. I heard the opposite.
Really?
I did. Yeah. I was in a seminar the other day, a company that helps people maximize their frequent flyer miles.
Yeah.
And they talk about sign-up bonuses and getting new cards and grabbing new cards every 2 to 3 months. And they say that it has not had any negative, and in fact, sometimes a positive impact, because your utilized credit is low.
Well, I hope I'm wrong because someone just said that to me last week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
The credit agencies, with the exception of delinquencies, are pretty much just a black box and you don't know what's what. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, sort of from the onset, we said that you don't learn a ton from your wins, but you learn a ton from your losses. So, what I'd love to find is something that you're willing to share, a misstep, a misread, something that didn't go the way you thought it was going to go. I'd love for you to tell us the story and unpack it.
Well, I'll tell you my story. And I've had a really, like we were saying before we started this tape, I've really had a very interesting life. And I want to tell you what the misstep was, what went wrong when you took your entrepreneurship, and what was the cost of that mistake. So I'm going to start from the beginning. We're going way back.
I love it.
And I always wanted to be a teacher. I knew at the age of 10 years old, but my life went 180 degrees when I had an insect bite, which caused me to have encephalitis. And due to brain damage, I lived with epilepsy for close to 25 years. I was in Hebrew school, and all of a sudden, this thing came over me. We were doing a map of Israel. I said to the rabbi, I don't feel well. And he thinks I'm trying to get out of this test. So he allows me to go down the hall, and I sat down in a chair outside his office, and immediately I went into a coma.
Oh, wow.
My dad comes to pick me up. I could walk, but I couldn't talk. And so as he's driving me home, he turns around and drives me to the only synagogue that was in Port Jervis, New York. So 10 hours later, after I went in the coma, I wake up and my eyes, I look up and I see a cross on the wall. And I'm thinking, where am I, in heaven? But to the right of me was the rabbi, to the left of me was my parents. And I'm like, holy crap. I felt like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz because where am I? What's going on? So I had a really tough life. And I lived with epilepsy for close to 25 years. I used to average 18 seizures a month. At one point, I was on 32 pills a day. For one period of my life, I went for 3 months without any seizures. And I thought, oh my God, what's happening? But it never stopped. And I attended 2 universities. I followed my dream to become a teacher, but due to the seizures, when I was at my second college in Cambridge, Massachusetts, I walked out of a classroom while student teaching. And believe it or not, the university asked me to leave and reapply in 2 years. And I said to him, you know what, prior to being admitted to the university, I explained to your college my condition. You accepted me to the college, and now I'm in my senior year of college and you're saying reapply.
Wow.
So I had to demand receiving the credits that I needed to attend their graduate school for social work, because in the undergrad, there was no way that was all about teaching. And as I was teaching this fourth grade class, in fact, it happened in Arlington, Massachusetts, right outside of Cambridge.
Mhm.
I walked out of the classroom, realized, oh my God, I'm now coming to. I was able to walk. I didn't fall down. I didn't have a grand mal at that time, but I have many grand mals. But anyhow, I went back in the classroom. 2 weeks later, they called me into the office, one of the offices, Department of Education at this university. And then he said, why don't you leave and apply 2 years? And I said, no. And this all happened before the Disabilities Act of 1990.
Mm.
So I graduated that August rather than June. And I was so lost, I really did not know where to turn. So for a brief period of time, I went back to my hometown in Port Jervis, New York, and I worked at a nursing home. And then after working there for about 9 months, I moved to New York City, where I really needed to live because I had to be in a city that had transportation. I felt uncomfortable driving a car. So I wound up working for a manufacturer that was on the stock exchange, and it was called Movie Star Incorporated.
Mm.
And I have to say, even though I finished college and it really wasn't that educational, the position that I had, but I got to tell you, I was in the Department of Billing. It was accounts receivable.
Mhm.
And every time I had a seizure, they would wheel me down the hall. And as soon as I came out of the seizure, I would come back to my desk and go back to work. They were a gift to me. So anyhow, since I first became ill 11 and a half, I've had all these seizures and they were never controlled. But at the age of 35, this was after working in the garment industry for 10 years, I then was given an amazing gift. I had a left temporal lobectomy and had been seizure-free ever since. So
Wow.
now my life has, gone, I went 180 degrees and then I went another 180 degrees, right? Because now I'm seizure free. And I feel like the amount of energy that I have, I feel like I'm Snow White who's come out of her dream. And I now at that point, I felt now I'm exposed to a new career. So my first position after the brain surgery was denying claims for one of the national health insurance companies. And within 2 weeks, they taught me how to deny. And after a month being there, I became a supervisor of claims where I had to take all the irate phone calls that came in every day. And every night I needed a glass of wine.
So, an interesting job title. You were in charge of denying claims.
They made me a supervisor of claims at this health insurance company. And they taught me within 2 weeks how to deny the claims.
Wow.
So after I worked there for 2 years, they were being bought out by another company in another state, and I did training in the other state. But I get hired by another insurance company, which is the first one was only US, but the next one was a very large insurance company that at the time it was in over 130 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And again, within
I
2 weeks.
can only think of one with three initials.
So after 2 weeks speaking, after 2 weeks working there, again, they taught me how to deny claims. I worked at this insurance company for 10 years, and all my experience over the years since I started out, it's always been in claims and underwriting area. So from that experience, including my own medical claims, where my insurance employer, I'll never forget this. When I worked for the health insurance company, the health insurance company, the first job, I'll never forget. And I tell people about this. After I had the brain surgery, I'm getting bills from my doctor where my insurance company isn't paying it. So I said to him, I'm working for you. You're a health insurance company. I'm your employee, and you're not paying 100% of my bill. So what I learned is, and I've even spoken before groups of people who are not just brokers, but they work for the large health insurance companies. And what I've told them is, I remember lecturing, I said, you make 25,000, you get a bill for $25,000. You get a bill for $100,000. You get a bill for $500,000. You get a bill for $1.5 million, right? And your insurance company is only paying 20%, and you're responsible for the difference. That's what happens when someone who is not insured through your policy and they're out of network provider, they might come to you for the difference. So what happened is I would deny the claims. And then a call might come in 6 months later, and I would get a phone call from the executive office and say, Adria, pay that claim. So I learned by being at especially the second insurance company, how to twist the arms of the insurance company.
From the inside.
That's right. That's right.
Very cool.
And then this is what you asked me. You said, I want you to tell us a story. I wanted to tell us about the stumble, what mishap, and what was my wrong turn. And I'm like thinking to myself, how can I come up with a wrong term? What did I do wrong? And the only thing I can say is I opened a medical billing company after working 12 years at the two insurance companies. And the medical billing company made very little money. It did pay off my initial investment, but due to the tremendous merge of all the physician practices and hospitals, the company went south. And even today, after opening the medical billing, this is 18 years ago, I still only have one client for Medwise billing. I started out as Medwise billing, and then I later made it Medwise Insurance Advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So today, that's a very small portion of my current business. And what I've learned from that experience is to be successful, you have to have ups and downs with entrepreneurship. And hopefully your experience will lead you to the next step for a much more successful business.
Yep. I love it.
Thank you.
Wow, what a story. Congratulations on your
Thank you.
success. And it is true, right? We start businesses, some go, some don't, but that's okay. Those are entrepreneurial ventures. That's what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to fail sometimes. So yeah, like any entrepreneurial venture, there's some of them are just supposed to fail. They're supposed to be the lesson. Because I believe there is zero chance that Medwise Insurance Advocacy would exist were it not for your previous business.
100%.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, with Medwise Insurance Advocacy, because of what I lived through myself and the issues I even had with medical bills for myself, when I even was working for an insurance company, a health insurance company, and they're not paying, I think I have really great relationships with my clients. I don't have the same condition as they do in most cases, but at least I know what it feels like to be sick and to have financial issues due to your condition.
Yeah. And that's what makes you probably the best in the business, because you understand it deeply.
Right. Yeah, I do. When I see these people and I hear the stories, my heart goes out to them. Because I was there. I was there. When I first got sick, I kept on praying, please, please, please. Every time I blew up my birthday candles, every prayer that I made was to get me out of this health problem that I had. And I received my gift that I always prayed for and received.
Wow, that's spectacular. What a story. Thank you so much for sharing it. I'm honored to have met you, and thanks. I mean, that's the only thing I can say is thank you. It's quite a story, and I'm sure that as people listen to this and as people get in touch with you, they'll learn more and more, and they'll become better and better entrepreneurs, because it is okay to fail, and it is okay to be all in and know what you're doing and start a business based on something that's happened to you, and go help the people like you that didn't have help before you started this thing. So on behalf of all the people that have medical billing issues, thank you. And Adria, I really appreciate you being on the show. I will, if anyone wants to get in touch, Adria's information will be in the footer, and with links to her website and links to her book. With that would conclude episode 9 of the Founders Dinner podcast, and with my guest, Adria Gross. And I'm so grateful for you being on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Founders Dinner, stories of entrepreneurial wins, losses, and lessons. Once again, we've journeyed through the inspiring and challenging world of entrepreneurship with Stas Balanevsky, uncovering stories that illuminate the resilience and adaptability at the heart of success. Each narrative shared today is a testament to the unyielding spirit of our entrepreneurial guests, providing lessons in courage and determination. We hope these stories have not only entertained, but also inspired you. Whether you're taking the first steps in your entrepreneurial journey or are a seasoned leader in the business world, Founders Dinner is more than just a podcast. It's a community of learning, inspiration, and connection. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insightful episodes and join our vibrant LinkedIn community to continue the conversation, share experiences, and connect with like-minded entrepreneurs. Until next time, keep embracing the entrepreneurial journey. This is Stas Balanevsky, thanking you for being a part of the Founders Dinner family. See you at the next dinner.